Do you feel out of place? Do you ever feel the sour, bitter taste? It's almost like unsatisfied hunger. I know. It sounds absurd, but actually it's a pretty valid case. Do you also happen to be a man? Not a single look, but they look to you when shit hits the fan? Please, allow me to explain if I can. See, what I've come to realize is that being a man is not only about stepping up, it's about being in control too. Now, random crazy guy on YouTube. What is control? What is control? What is intelligence without the mole? What is a human without the soul? What is control? Well, control means taking charge. Keeping a stronghold, not standing down when people bark. Have a defense like a guard and the authority of a sarge. Let me tell you this. You're being restrained. They'll tell you as a man, you should be tame. As a man, play the game. But what I've come to realize is a man never plays. Because even if it seems a man is in control, always. Now, never attempt to control people. That's utterly pointless. That's a battle you'll never win. Why? As long as emotion plays a factor, that's a delicious goat you'll never trim. And it's not to say that you can't. No, you can. You use slavery, coercion. Maybe the person is simply deluded. But you shouldn't. It's not your place. You should only aim to control your own circumstances. Now for the meat of the pie, the question you're all been wondering, how am I being restrained? And to that I'll ask you this. How is it that you are this way? It's not all bad, but in some situations you find yourself being timid and livid at the fact that you can't explain this face you put on. And the self-development future you desire slowly escapes through a crack in the box you trapped it in. I want to give you an example. Personally, in my life, I've become a bit of a problem. I won't lie to you, especially at my workplace. This is a true story. They say I converse too much, especially the people with opposite traits. Women. They say my actions are disruptive, only because I yearn to understand a woman's way. I mean her perspective, one void from my current place. So if you say that my presence brings chaos, well then I strongly advise whoever is standing in it to get the fuck out of my way. See, my presence does not cause chaos until it actually causes chaos. No point in worrying about the dormant volcano that hasn't erupted. Your measures aren't preventative. You're just dosing a sedative. Something to keep me calm in my prime, something to make my mind stop in time, and of course something to hold a young nigga back in line. Now some people may ask me, random guy once again, why do you want to converse at your workplace? Why not gather your things and leave the place to go somewhere else to communicate? And to that I say this, only logic. Why do you go to work on a Thursday? Why do you drink water when you're thirsty? Why do you love and why do you hate? I know, my words sound a bit confusing, but the message states. We have a gift. A way to lift someone's soul, a way to trick the mind from falling into a deep, dark hole. Communication, people. Something that's necessary for a stable mind. Something we use to uncomplicate the complicated all the time. Emotion. And more importantly, I've learned you're a bitch that if you start the game with one leg in the pool, you cannot dip your toe in fear of looking like a fool. To be who you say you want to be means to be fully immersed. And to go to a place with such constraint is the same as hopping in a car with no drive and going in full reverse. See, the point is not to cause disruption. The point is to be in full freedom, to where you're controlling the game. To where you're no longer the victim, but the one building the frame. The one building the narrative. The one controlling the crane. Well, what's the relevance? You ask me again, random guy. And to that I say this. To be who you say you want to be. We know that you have to be that person 100% of the time, not just 20%, not just 50%, hell, not even 80%, 100% of the time. And to go to a place to spend the majority of your time to what? Act as a different person, someone antithetical to who you actually want to be? The shy, timid person incapable of breaking the ice to not just start a conversation, but a relationship, not just a relationship, but a source of inspiration because we learn from each other as human beings. Ideas spring from tiny streams, high levels of mastery, yet we fear what it brings. Discomfort, disagreements, all the attention in the world, good and bad. And so we sit, we hope, we pray. But I can guarantee you, and I can definitely promise you that nothing comes of it if we don't practice how we play. Now, you have no obligation to cherish the words that I say. It's your life. You can do whatever you want. But understand this. When you lay up at night, wondering what you are, remember there's a constraint compressing a part of who you really are. And so you ask me, what is a human without a soul? Well, I'll only answer if you tell me what is a man without control.
I think I'm getting better. Blank face with a grin when people hurt me. I'm not numb to pain, the shit you feel the same, huh?